call bridge now, okay? All right, thank you.
What?
Don't forget to mention that we do it Tuesdays. All right, Dave, you all set?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But we're also not doing it weekly.
Huh?
We're also not doing it weekly.
Whatever you guys say.
I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm just going to say, yeah. All right, what's up, guys? Dave Villa here. It's Game Changers Tuesday, man. We moved to Tuesdays, just easier for my schedule. And we're coming to you today from Tampa, Florida, right here at IPD Studios. And this is the IPD Media production. I am so pumped up, man. I just want to spend some time with you guys today. So it's going to be a little more casual, man. This is going to be chill. Today is going to be amazing. We've got a great guest on. She's going to be joining me here in just a few minutes. And we're going to be talking about online presence and branding today. As a salesperson, as a marketing person, as I don't care what it is you're doing, you know, what's the proper way to brand yourself online? What's the wrong way to do it? Is there a wrong way? Some people say massive action, right? Just do it. Just put yourself out there. And I get that and I agree, but we're going to talk about what's too much and is there such thing as too much? Or maybe is it not, you know, there's no such thing as too much if there's content, because content is the key. And if you don't have the content, then you're just wasting airspace, right? You're just there. You're just kind of like that gnat. You ever walked outside? You ever walked outside, guys? I don't think there ever is a right time to be a gnat, right? There's no time where you're like, so this may be a horrible analogy. there's no right time to be a gnat. You know, this is a bad analogy. But you know what? I'm going to use the negative side of it. If you're out there and your content is not up to par, meaning you don't have anything to say. You just feel like, you know what, man, I got to be noticed and I got to get online. I got to do a Facebook Live. I got to get out there, and you're just gonna get out there, right? And you're not gonna say anything, right? This worth its salt. You're like it's like walking out. And gnats just being all around you. You know what I'm talking about? That feeling? Lou, you know what I'm talking about, right? They're in your ears. And you're trying to talk to someone, and it's like, you just keep brushing it. Then all of a sudden, you open your mouth to talk, and one flies in your mouth. How does that little sucker get in your mouth, man? You know what? Listen, if you are online all the time, and you are a constant presence, but you don't have anything to say that's worth its salt, then you are like a gnat flying into the mouth of a person. It sucks. It's like, it sucks, right? But I want to talk to our guest today, and I want to talk to you, and I want to hear what you have to say. Weigh in on Facebook. Listen, if you think what do you think the secret to an online presence is? What in your opinion? You're online right now. You're watching this. What do you think the secret is to somebody being online, whether it's posting a video, making a comment, posting an article, Facebook Live, they're periscoping, right? They're on Twitter, what do you think the secret is to not being overkill? What do you think the secret is? When you don't go, oh crap, it's them again, right? Why are you not saying that? Right? Sean Hayes says content is good, but has to be good. What? That y'all wrote the content. Wait, content is important, but has to be, okay, I read it wrong. Content is good or is important, but has to be good. Okay, so help me differentiate that, Sean. Help me separate that. What's the difference in content is important, but has to be good? Okay, so I guess what you're saying is, well, I mean, I guess anytime you get online, right? Hey, I'm Dave. How you doing? I mean, I'm saying something, but I mean, but technically, what I'm saying that doesn't qualify as or that doesn't define itself as content, right? I mean, just because I'm speaking, it's there's stuff coming out of my mouth, but it's not content, right? I mean, or is it? Content, I guess, really is defined by, you know, substance. You know, is to me, I guess sometimes we put the adjective good, right, in front of content, so it's got to be good content, right? I get that, but I guess maybe I was being a little naive. I personally think that content, by definition, by word, right, it means good. I mean, I guess there's such thing as bad content, but I mean, even bad content takes work. Think about this for a second. If somebody writes a bad article, I'm not just one, but like every month they post an article and it sucks, right? And again, I'm not saying it sucks. You're not saying it sucks. It just sucks, okay? And so it's just not good. They post a video every day, but it's just not good, right? I guess there's time put in to that bad content as well. So Sean, I think your comment is good. So content is good, is important, but it has to be good content. Great point. Dave Sabowski says, I only post epic sales events. I'd like a little, extrapolate that, Dave. Give me a little bit more on that. What do you mean by I only post epic sales events? What does that mean? What does that mean? How do you know what's an epic sales event? I'd just like a little more clarification. Sean Hayes, talking about things that matter to the group you're speaking to. There you go. So it has to be, so Sean's right. Okay, so I've learned something here. There's good content and there's bad content because, so I guess what I was defining as lack of content earlier would just be you're wasting someone's time. You don't even have content. You're just getting on and you're babbling about your lunch. You're babbling about your food, right? And listen, here's the deal. Here's the problem. You're abusing your audience. Here's the thing, man. Social media is important. And I get it. If you have an audience, sometimes I'll post about something that's just, about my life. And I think that humanizes you if you have an audience. But I mean, listen, if you don't have anything to say, sometimes it's better to wait until you have something to say, right? If you don't have anything that's worth its salt, if you don't have anything good to say, anything that's valuable to say, man, come on, give your audience a rest. Maybe you should just wait until you do have something to say and then post it. I think it'd be more valuable. Dave Sabowski says every day is a sale. Gets stale. So I post huge events. Okay. So Dave says, okay, I'm going to only post. So basically, and I want to ask our guest this when she comes on in just a few minutes. So I'm going to define that as, let's say you're not in sales, you're watching it right now. Say I'm not in direct sales. I'm not selling for a living, but I brand myself and I'm an author or I'm a creative writer or, I'm a manager or whatever it is, but I'm not in direct sales. So I would qualify that, what Dave's saying, every day is a sale, right? That gets stale. So I post huge events. So I think that would qualify in any genre, in whatever it is that you do, right? It's just when you feel it. Because, how else are you going to know it? You don't know it's a huge sale until sometimes after it happens, right? Or in the middle of it. Or so maybe it's when you feel it. Maybe we go by, hey, I've got something inspiring to say. I have something inspiring to do. I'm going to inspire somebody, right? I'm not going to just do it for the sake of doing it, because let me tell you something. It doesn't only wear your audience out. Hear me, guys. Look, it wears you out. There's been times where I felt pressure to put something out there. Now, some of those times I need the challenge. I need my guys here to go, hey man, come on, you got a commitment. And sometimes they'll squeeze a nugget out of me of creativity, because maybe that day, instead of me going, I feel like butt today, I feel like I suck today, and I just don't feel it today. Maybe that's what I need to talk about. Hey, let me give you an example. Hey, have you ever not felt it? Have you ever felt like crap? Have you ever not wanted to get up and inspire yourself? See, there's inspiration because it's coming from a place I'm at. But sometimes, man, I just don't feel it. So let me just say this. Not only do you wear your audience out when you don't have something to say, right? You wear yourself out. Are you listening? You're wearing yourself out. And you will become uninspiring, right? Because if you're not inspired yourself, sometimes you need to be quiet, right? Sometimes I just need to be quiet. If you ever see me just kind of camped out for a couple of days and hey, where'd Dave go? It's because Dave needs some inspiration himself, right? Because here's the difference in motivation and inspiration. I can motivate anyone, anytime. I can just open my mouth, even when I don't feel like it, and motivate somebody. That's easy. That doesn't cost me anything. You know what costs me something? Inspiration. Inspiration and motivation are separated by one thing. Inspiration will cost you something. There is an investment required. If I'm going to inspire, not motivate, inspire somebody, right? Then it costs me something. I leave having laid something down. Do you get that? Does that make sense, Lou? I have invested something in you. That's the only way to inspire somebody, not motivate them, inspire them. Because in motivation, you got to do it every day. Inspiration the right kind of inspiration into someone's life will instill something into them that could last a month, a year, a lifetime. Amen? Come on. Michael Steed or Stead. I'm not really sure. Steed sounds pretty good, Michael. Is it Steed or is it Stead? Stead sounds good too, but Steed sounds really good. He said the clients and customers need choice. Like it. Come on, keep your comments coming in. We're going to bring our guest on here in just a couple of minutes. Listen, this is Game Changer. I'm Dave Villa. I'm on fire today. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it today. I feel this, Lou. I feel it.
All
See, today's not one of those days where I'm having to stir something up and it's in me. Like I could Facebook Live today. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what you going to Facebook? I'm going to Facebook Live the whole day. Right? When I pee, not when not that. But hey, listen, because here's the deal, man. Every single solitary thing I'm doing today, I feel inspired. But what happens when you don't feel like it? What do you want to say to that? I'm going to ask my guest that. What happens, Ez, when you don't feel like it? What happens when you don't feel like it? You still got to go, right? You still got to go. You still got to make it today. Hey, we're going to have a great layout today. I went all over the place. I feel pretty good about it, so I'm not going to apologize. However, we're going to bring it back to an online presence with our guest today. I'm going to ask her what brings the biggest ROI. All right, what do we need to do? If you're starting out today, I'm going to ask those questions. You're going to get those kind of answers. Believe me, Shannon Milligan, she is a real estate agent in Virginia, and she is changing the game. She is a game changer when it comes to it. She is changing the game, and you don't want to miss the next 15 minutes with Shannon. Coming up in just 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Serial Sales Pro for a little more than 2 years now.
I highly recommend it to anybody who's either just getting in sales. I don't care if you've been in sales 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are.
The shorter videos allows me to keep my concentration and also gives me more of a chance to actually apply that knowledge.
I've learned how to close deals better and be more effective in my communication with these customers.
You know, I think what Serial Sales Pro does for me, it just keeps me sharp, keeps my head sharp.
My income has literally tripled in the last 3 years.
This year, I'm already slated to make about 50 grand more than I made last year.
I've doubled my income from what I made last year.
It's definitely increased my income, and a lot of that came from what I learned right from Serial Sales Pro.
It's really turned my whole sales career around.
It keeps me ready to get to the next level.
So if you're not plugged in to it, get involved right away.
Hey guys, Dave Villa here, CEO of IPD in Tampa, Florida. If you are in sales, if you're a salesperson, stop what you're doing. I'm gonna adjure you to watch this video. Hey, this June, August, and October, 3 days, we are hosting right here in IPD headquarters the first Serial Sales Boot Camp. This is straight up, absolutely intense training, rolling the sleeves up, baby. Dave, why are you getting all militant? Well, listen, this training is militant. You need to pull the pin on what's holding you back, salespeople, from getting to the level that you desire and dream of. The status quo will not cut it anymore. Hey guys, Dave. All right, guys, we're back and we're going to bring our guest on. I am so fired up, man, to have Shannon Milligan on. She is a rock star real estate agent. She is a brand, I think, a brand specialist. That's what we're not talking about real estate today, even though it's going to come up because what she's doing is out of the box. But this lady is a game changer, in my opinion, when it comes to putting herself out there. Shannon, thanks for joining me. I know you're extremely busy. And how's the weather? How you doing up there in Virginia? How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me. The weather's kind of crappy out, but, you know, business is rolling, so I can't complain. Too blessed to be stressed, right? That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I know I put like 3 questions on you. I'm like, how you doing? How's the weather? And, you know, so that was like a curveball and a half. Hey, I want to jump into this and kind of I've been looking forward. I know that we scheduled this a couple of months ago, and what first made you stand out to me, and you and I talked about this when we were booking the show, was a video that you put out on Facebook, I believe, where you sold a house, and it was actually another one that you had done. You do these little personal videos that are just kind of, you know, edgy and real and entertaining. But one of them that you pointed me to after our discussion was when you sold a house, right, that wasn't for sale, and I get it. It was, you know, it was part of a plan for marketing and so forth. But so I don't want to talk about, you know, maybe what real estate agents would like to talk about, but I want to talk about the reason you did it, the branding behind it.
And what gave you the idea? I mean, why the out of the box thinking? You know, why in an industry that's kind of like stale? I mean, we've all bought homes, right? We all use real estate agents, and it's typically a very vanilla industry, and you're like chocolate and strawberry and it all up. So tell me about it.
Well, it really started from, I need to separate myself. I am a really great agent. I am good at what I do, and I know I'm good at what I do, just like you know you're good at what you do. So the problem is not enough people knew it. So my husband said to me one day, you are good at what you do. You just have to get more people to know it. And I thought, well, how do I do that? And I had done those videos in the past where it was, you know, all about me, like, hey, I'm Shannon Milligan, and I'm a great realtor because, and then it dawned on me, nobody cares about me. Like, I don't care about me when I'm buying a house. You know, I don't care about the realtor. People only care about themselves, rightfully so. And so I had to flip the script and think, okay, you know, it was kind of reverse engineer it. What do people want to know about? And, you know, they want to know how to find a realtor without, you know, caring about the realtor so much. They don't want to hear why you're so great. They want to know how to find one. Or I did another video on the fears of buyers. You know, I flipped the script and I was like, okay, you know, what does a buyer feel when they're going through the process? Well, they're scared. They're afraid they won't get financing. They're afraid of the home inspection. So we flipped that, and we, you know, had something about a devil popping up at every turn. And at the end, I simply say, you know, the devil's in the details, and that's what we take care of here. And that's the only thing I had to say about myself. And so that's really what started it, was just to get my name out there so more people could discover me.
Yeah, you know, and great job, by the way. And so I want to get into the methodology, the mindset of this, because okay, we have people listening from all kinds of industries. I mean, from sales industries, automotive industry, real estate industry. I mean, non-sales. I mean, there are people watching. But the one thing I think we all have in common, right, with social media, if you're watching a show like this, is you're trying to find out how to brand myself. How do I brand my company? So let me just ask you this so we can kind of preface the rest of the conversation. How's it working for you? I mean, it's, in other words, have you seen an increase exponentially in your business with regards to your branding efforts?
100%, of course. I'm seeing it. I mean, after I did my first Facebook Live show, I got a private message saying, hey, come list my house. I mean, it works.
Okay, so great. Then I established it. So if you're watching this show today, our listeners, then I wanted to watch, maybe ask even maybe an obvious question, because we have Shannon on, but I wanted to set that tone. Hey, does it work? So let's establish it does. Now, if you want to know how to do it, Shannon, I want to ask you some questions, because somebody's watching now, right? And so you're doing things like, hey, I'm going to put a video out there where I'm just going to show up, and you got to check this out on Shannon's Facebook page, where, you know, I'm just going to show up, right, with a potential buyer to a home with a family there. It's not even for sale, right? I'm going to walk in and I'm going to sell the house. And the moral of the story is, right, Shannon's walking in, she's showing the home, you know, in the home, the people that are home, the family doesn't have a clue what's going on. And then at the end, you sell the home, because everything's for sale, right? So in other words, when somebody makes an offer and they see the offer is exceeds what they maybe thought their home was worth, boom. And then because the moral is, hey, Shannon Milligan is going to present your home in such a way that it's going to get bites. And then you're talking about you know, the other videos, you know, you put out there. So if you were building an online presence from scratch today, and I know it wasn't that long ago that you did this, what 3 things, and I know this may be, you know, may have required some thought. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but what are a couple of things that you would consider to provide the biggest ROI on time and money? Someone's watching and going, hey, where do I start? Where do I start? What would you give them as maybe the top 1 or 2 things, maybe even 3 things they could do with regards to ROI, with regards to time and money?
Well, the first thing I would do is start a Facebook show. I mean, everybody has a free Truman Show, right, with the Jim Carrey movie. Everybody has their own reality TV show right at their fingertips for free. You already have a built-in audience. You know, you have the people that already know and like you and trust you. And sometimes they just need to be reminded of what you do in a non-salesy way, because most people want relationship building. They don't want transactional. So I would start a Facebook Live show, and you just have to be consistent with it, and you have to not quit. It's like direct mail. No matter what business you're in, direct mail works if you do it I have many people quit after 3 months. They're like, that doesn't work. Yes, it does. It's just about, over time exposure. So I would start a Facebook show, and then I would implement video into my business, and I would do it in such a way that it's not just, hey, I'm a Lexus dealer, come down and look at my Lexus. I would do something funny about it. What you just have to reverse engineer it. What do people think about Lexus? What do people think about BMW? So, when I think about that sort of thing, like I have a Tahoe, I would totally be like playing some rap music, and I would be rapping in the car, and I'd be making fun of myself if I were selling Tahoes or something like that. So I really think implementing Facebook Live and doing branding videos is just super important. And really the theme of all of that is video, video, video.
Yeah, I think they absolutely agree with you. And so I want to ask a couple of questions, or a question in a minute that's going to shift direction on that, because we were talking in the monologue, and I think you were dialed in on the monologue, but I was talking a little bit about content, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about that, because I think that sometimes trainers, I'm a trainer, sometimes trainers, we can give false hope to individuals sometimes. And so I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, but let me ask you with regards to the action or decisions and choices that you've made, which one has had the single biggest impact in the growth of your personal brand? I mean, what do you think, what action, decision, choice has Shannon Milligan made, if she had to choose one, that had the biggest impact, on the growth of your personal brand? Was that also the video, or was that a choice maybe you made that led to that?
When I stopped worrying about, honestly, it was an internal decision. When I stopped caring if something looked professional, or how I looked in a video, or what other people thought about me, truly, that's when I realized that I am really great at what I do, and other people need to know it. But I was getting so hung up on how I would come across, and now I wear jeans and a blazer to work, and I'm me, and that's attraction marketing. So I'm getting to work with people that I'm really enjoying my business again. So the minute I made the internal decision to stop worrying what everybody else does, and if everybody's going right, maybe I go left, that's what's really worked for me.
Yeah, I love that. And, I think that ties into the whole video thing, kind of going back to the video for a second. Video is key. I think one of the reasons, and tying that in with the, hey, doesn't have to look professional. I think the fact that you're doing a video, I think the professionalism, Shannon, for a person, I agree with you totally, even though I'm in a set here at our studio and with this show, but I mean, I do 90% of our video branding, from walking around, even though it's professionally edited, I do it, or for my desk or what have you. But I think that I completely agree with you that off the cuff, organic is the way to do it. And I think the professional aspect of it is just being consistent. I think that's the professionalism where that comes in. For instance, you could be in a t-shirt hanging out at your house, man, by your pool, whatever, just being you. But if you're consistent with a message and a timing, and you're not doing it sometimes, and then a month from now, hey, somebody doesn't know if you're ever going to be on again, that's where I think the professionalism. I think people do desire professionalism, but I think that it's not as much how you look, or as much as it is being consistent. Does that make sense?
Completely agree. Totally agree. I have a weekly Facebook show, and I'm treating it like a television series. So you have to learn to self-audit. And the one thing I realized was, okay, you can be consistent, and you can also take a break and know when people are getting tired of you. If you were watching Orange is the New Black, 365 days a year, you would get tired of the show. So I just put up a little meme the other day saying, hey, I'm putting a self-ban on myself for a month or two, like Taylor Swift, because I'm overexposed. Sure. And the funny thing is, I kept getting all these private messages. Just so you know, we love it. You're not overexposed. You need a break. It's a planned break, and I will come back at the end of July. I'm also, aware that a lot of people are getting ready to go on vacation, so the numbers will go down. But yes, it's about you can have breaks as long as you schedule those breaks and that's part of your consistent plan.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And and you're causing me to think. And I mean, I know that we only have a few minutes left, but you're causing me just to go into. I have all kinds of conversation I could bring up because I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think it's necessary. It kind of goes back with what I was talking about in the monologue with content. I think that a lot of times people miss it because they think they have to be out there, but this when you have a demand on you to produce content because you've developed an audience, which we both have. That demand, you don't always feel like it. And now sometimes you don't feel like it, and you have to just do it. And I'd said in the monologue that some of the best messaging comes from, hey, do you ever feel like not doing it? Do you ever feel like just getting up and going back to bed? And that may be the message of the day. But sometimes I think that we need that break. Our audience needs that break because good content is really the key, and that's what caused the audience in the first place. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I'm not just liking this person, but this person is really edifying my life. They're helping me, and I feel challenged and I'm growing. I mean, do you agree with that? And do you think that might be a reason that some people aren't seeing the results they'd like, but maybe they don't and haven't developed something to say yet?
Yeah, I agree. You train people to how they're going to look at you, right? So one of my best Facebook Lives that I've ever done, I completely forgot about it, and I didn't want to do it when I realized it. It was about 5 minutes before the show was to start. I was in my PJs. I got on Facebook Live, and I said to the audience, hey, listen, I forgot about this. Didn't really want to do it, but I am teaching you that I show up when I say I'm going to show up. Mm-hmm. Here I am. And the funny thing about that, people related to it, and it was a really good show because people could connect to honest. So you make a plan, you do it even when you don't feel like doing it. And you know what's crazy about it? Every time I don't feel like doing it, the minute I get done, it's like going to the gym. Mm-hmm. I hate going to the gym, but when I'm finished, I feel great and my business is better for it.
Well, outstanding. You know what? I think it's refreshing, and I'm a big proponent of this and believer in this, and probably to the point of maybe even saying too much. But I think it's refreshing to those that are listening when they hear somebody that pours into them, that they grow from. Okay, admit that, hey, I don't want to do it sometimes, because here's the deal. I think that I can relate to that kind of person, what I mean? And that's just the truth. And so if you want to help people really grow, I think that, that you have to be able to relate to them, and they have to understand that sometimes I don't want to do it. And, I've gotten to where I've gotten, and you, I'm sure as well, Shannon, in your professional career, doing things when you didn't feel like doing it, because it was the right thing to do and you had to do it. So I think when you've done a great job in crossing that message over into your brand, that's your brand and that's you. And I think that might be the lesson that our listeners can take away. What makes you you? If you try to copy Shannon, right? If you try to copy me, if you try to copy someone, I think then you're a carbon copy, a cheap duplicate at best, right? You're a counterfeit. But what makes you you? And I think that's really the key, and you have to establish that far before you start clicking that live button on Facebook. I'm going to leave you with your closing remarks, and then let people know how they can follow you. And I thank you so much for coming on. But I'm going to give you the last 45 seconds.
Well, guys, just get out there and do it. It has blessed my business. And listen, I'm having fun again in my business. So just get out there, create content, be consistent with it. You can find me on Facebook, Shannon Milligan, or my business page is RVA Home Team. I'm also RVA Home Team across all social channels. You'll also find me on Snapchat because, well, I love video.
Awesome. Well, Shannon, thank you so much. Your information is up on our screen now, and I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for taking some time to hang out with me today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
All right, you too. That was Shannon Milligan, and guys, listen, you need to check her out. And I want to read a few comments that have come in. I'm going to get to the question that came in, I believe, from someone asked a question. But Stephanie, Marie, people can connect to honest. I agree. Michael Stead, thank you, Michael. Demonstrating what you do. Michael Stead's a steed. Come on, Stead's a steed. Jenna Bishop, authenticity is key. Jared McReevy, daily Facebook Live starting yesterday for me, interviewing people. I love doing these. Jared, we need to check that out, man. Michelle Polly McLean, love this. Michelle, we love you. Thank you so much for listening. Stephanie, Mariko, Marie, again, loving this Facebook Live. Thank you so much for connecting. Go back to that question at the top there. I want to address this because I saw this come in earlier. Go back to the top of the feed there, Lou, with the question that came in on connecting. Here's a question that came in, and I wanted to kind of connect and answer this in my opinion, and you can weigh in on this as well. As we close out, we've got a couple more minutes, but the question came in: how do you balance between personal content and professional content for your brand? Great question, and I think that it differs for everybody. And here's the deal: I don't use a fan page. I have my personal page is my business page. I have very little that I post on there about, like, hey, I went to dinner here, or I did this here. It's on there, right? And you can follow me on Twitter for a lot more interaction, and it's at IPD Mail, IPDMAIL, and I do a lot on Twitter. But anyway, the question: how do you balance between personal content, professional content? If you're at a dealership, for instance, or if you're at and a lot of your customers are watching. I never advocate. I don't think that you should put out there, hey, buy this car, $19,999. I think that it's about building relationships. And so let them see you be human. Let them see you be you. And I think that if you are saying something that's motivating or encouraging, or, you're putting out a quote, those are things that inspire human beings in general. And if you have a lot of your customers on there, they're going to connect with you. They're going to see on Facebook, for instance, where you work, what you do. And if they're following you, they're going to want to purchase from you. Like Shannon, for instance, she's a realtor, okay? She is appealing. Not only do people follow her that are business professionals like myself that are going, wow, this is really cool. Wow, this is really interesting. I like this. This challenges me. But at the same time, she has customers and potential customers following her. So she's not going, hey, buy from me, hire me as a real estate agent. She's putting things out there that are creative and unique, and people see that. So, I think the balance is be you, right? Be encouraging. Sometimes if you have an event going on, I have events going on right now, then we'll post things out there, and we'll put those into the mix as well. Anyway. That's my 2 cents on it, but I appreciate you guys following me. Listen, if you want one of the 2 seats that we have, a couple of the seats that we have available in our sales boot camp, make sure you check out the commercial that came in earlier. Michael Stead said friends with Ray Abood and one other. Is that not a comment to read? Okay. Thank you very much there, Lou. I'm not sure what that means. So that's in front of me right there. Hey, thank you guys for checking out Game Changer, man. I will see you. Michael Stead says large screen is the key, so you can do what you do and read comments, interaction with audience. Hey, I'm busy and I've stuck around. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, guys, for listening. Thank you, Shannon Milligan. I'll see you guys next time.